Yes. Yes. So recording sessions are available. Means previous recording sessions are available and which can be shared by Ram or Shiva.
Please,
Hmm. Can just all of you go on mute who is not speaking. Okay.
Jasmine and Sheikh, can you go on mute, please? Sheikh. Okay.
Yeah, Ram, you're saying something.
no one, if anyone doesn't have the access, please share me your mail ID in group so that I will provide the access. That's it.
So Shaiksha, can that be done?
I don't know. I think if doesn't have the access, ask him to share me the access.
Okay, no
Most
worries.
of the persons have the access.
Okay, but whoever joined late means today, right? And to have access to the previous sessions, just connect with Ram or just share your ID so that it can be shared and you are good to access all of the recording sessions. Does that work? Hello.
Yeah, sounds good. Shiva, did you collect the information from who actually have logged in the trailhead as well as the subscribe for the developer edition?
Yes, Vijay, like around 5 p.m. yesterday, I just connected with the team. So like, yeah, we done with both. I mean, we signed up for both and we just connected our trial it to the developer.
Okay. Keep a maintain of a tracker. Okay. That really requires a lot over here now. Excel sheet. In Excel sheet, you maintain like all the people and who actually did that. Work-wise also, we'll take that exercises. What are the exercises been given? That exercise has been completed, not completed by person-wise. So that will be help us out on where are they lagging, how we can improve that, and we can come up with the improvement plan as such. Okay.
Yes, Vijay.
And Shiva, whenever you are done with this, every day at least to send out to us the tracker through Ram. Then me and Satya will assess it, and we'll have a if needed to be have a conversation with some set of small people teams. We can also do that every week once, so
Yes,
that they
Vijay,
all should be aligned towards the cracking the opportunities quicker and faster.
Yeah, sure. I will do.
Yeah, that's the main objective is to get the gain of the knowledge is one thing, and secondly, working towards the opportunity. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. And guys, anybody is finding difficulties of logging into the trailhead or developer edition?
Srijay, this is Sanjeev. This question for Shiva. Okay, so I was not communicated to further sessions anymore. So Shiva said yesterday 5 p.m. He was connected with the team, right? So how it is communicated? I'm not sure about it.
Yeah, I sent a link in group only. So if you are in group, you can like I don't know why you didn't got the link, but I sent the Zoom link in group only.
Okay, yesterday. Yes.
Yeah, yesterday. Yeah.
Okay, you mentioned that tomorrow class link that is. So is that same link
No,
you're talking
not
about?
that.
I'm not sure
No, not
which
that.
group I'm in.
Yeah, Salesforce training 2. I mean, batch 2. The group name is.
I think I'm not in that group. So could you please add me into that? So I'm just going to ping
like
on current cyber bridge session. Just say hi. Okay, I'm just saying. So that's my number. I can add me in that group.
Okay.
No worries, Sanju. I recommend you post your message, your phone number here. so that
Yeah, sure.
Shiva will not miss it out to register. As well,
Sure.
anybody else missing in the group? Anybody is missing in that group? Anybody doesn't have access to that recordings? What we had at last 3 sessions?
Yeah, one more person, Pratibha Reddy. Yeah. Please ping me your number, Pratibha Reddy, so that we can add you inside a group.
Please bear with us. These are all the little operational stuff we need to be sorted before we jump onto the mainstream. Yeah, Pratibha, you raise the hand, but you are not talking.
There is a issue with my mic, so I couldn't speak. I was also don't have any access to the previous recordings, so I'm just pinging my number.
Yep. How about you, Ashok? Ashok, Sunita, Shekhar, you are able to sign up for the trailhead and developer edition, right?
Yes, sir.
Quickly, guys, open up your mic. I'm going to talk about the 3 people. Ashok, Sunita, Shekhar is confirmed. Ashok?
Yeah, I have signed up for both the trailhead and
Very good. Sunita?
Actually, I missed it, sir, yesterday class.
Okay, but you got the document, right, Sunita?
Yeah, yes.
But you missed the class, but you are going to get the recordings, right?
Yeah, yes.
You see, it's a commitment from your end. Even if it is a miss it out, you have over the night 24 hours out there till now. It's 1 hour left over, but it's 23 hours out there. You have to spend your time
Okay.
to go through the 1 hour video.
Okay.
Okay, please ensure that you are done. Okay, today.
Okay.
Tipu, Harshini, Teja.
Yeah, I have completed.
Very good. Harshini, Teja,
Hello, yes, sir.
the developer edition and
Yes, sir. Both I have, sir.
very good. Okay, it's not just a sign up. You also might have experienced the applications, opening the app launcher. You can see multiple applications are associated with you. It's like with your instance. Okay.
Okay,
Hope
sir.
that is being done. Okay.
Okay,
Teja,
sir.
Prashanti, Gautami.
getting the
Hi.
I'm not finding it.
Quickly. We are almost 10 minutes above the time. Okay, Shiva, have a check on all the team members. I want that Excel sheet to be passing on every day, Shiva, from your end. Okay.
Yeah,
And
sure.
connect with the
Yeah.
team. I'm not sure what is the convenient for the team. If you want to break up the team members like a 5 members group or 10 members group, I will leave it to you to the best way of how you can train the team after the sessions. And
Yeah, Srijay.
thank you.
Okay.
Satya, over to you, Satya.
Yeah, so Srijay, from the previous session, are there any leftover like basics and which we have to talk about, or can we just start directly in the customization?
I believe we have covered the sales and the service cloud, both operations. Then we jump into the data model, Salesforce data model.
Okay. Okay. Okay, guys. So let me share my screen. Okay, this is the screen.
Satya, just a small request to record the session.
Yeah, it is already started.
Oh, great.
Okay. So when you register developer edition is the our own developer arc, right? In the real time we don't use, but for this purpose, for the training purpose, and to have a real time experience, we use developer edition. Okay, in which we experience all of the Salesforce functionality and the Salesforce customization complete, right? And when you register developer edition, so our application looks like this. So this is called a lightning experience. So this is completely Lex. Okay. So in this application or in this lightning experience, see, just before lightning experience, let me also just give a background of the Salesforce. So Salesforce started with the traditional UI. So traditional UI works only in the iframe, only with the iframe. And those days using iframes are gone, and modern browsers, right, coming into picture and coming into existence, and every day, every time, and changing the browsers technology. So there is no iframe now. So what happened? Salesforce also evolved in line with the browser capabilities and browser advancement. And what Salesforce has done is, so they have come up with the Lightning Experience UI. So this Lightning Experience UI works with all of the browsers. It is not specific to one. It works with all of the browsers automatically. As and when any browser is upgraded, so automatically this Lightning Experience, whatever is Salesforce provided, so works in all of the browsers. So earlier UI, right? So earlier UI, I'll just show you how it was looking. So there is a classic, this is a classic UI. So there is an option called to switch to previous view, earlier view. If you go to the earlier view, right? So look and feel of the Salesforce application or Salesforce system, right? Salesforce system is like this. So this was the previous view. Here we used to have this, logo and this thing, and the forms also. If you go to the account, right, account is the form where you enter data record, right? So if you go here, just see the look and feel. So this is how it was showing. So all accounts. So this was the previous view, previous view completely not discarded. Still Salesforce is supporting previous view, but going forward, like, coming a couple of years, definitely Salesforce also going to get rid of with the traditional view. All have to come on the Lightning Experience platform. So this is where the UI, right? Earlier, if we have to build any custom UI, that custom UI used to be built on the Visual Force technology, which is provided by the Salesforce. So this is how it was looking. Here you used to have application, username and user settings and the logout option and this is how it was looking. But with the advancement of the time, so Salesforce has provided a Lightning Experience. So most of the clients in the real time uses this application. This is a Lightning application. Means Lightning Experience. We call it as a Lightning Experience. So here, right, in order to access the Salesforce, we have not installed any software. All we did is we just registered, means we just subscribed and got the URL, and that URL just hit and you get into the Salesforce application. But underlying infrastructure, as mentioned yesterday, it was all maintained by the Salesforce. We don't have to worry. This is how the real time works, right? So this is how real time is. Here there is an app launcher, right? And in the app launcher, is useful for launching the applications. So as we were talking about yesterday, right? So Salesforce comes up with the multiple applications, pre-built applications like sales, service, marketing, and a community. So all these are the applications. All these are the applications. You can just click any of the application and automatically application will switch. See, sales, right? Yesterday we have seen sales deals only with the opportunity. Deals with the opportunity means how many deals we won, how many deals we lost, means business, right? This is completely business. So how sales representatives procure the business and our business is growing. So this is where business complete view can be seen in the sales application. Whereas service, if you go to the service, this is a service management. If any customer, right, of the company facing any issues, so they will use this application, they will just create the cases. They will create the cases. So this will not have any opportunity. So this doesn't deal any with the opportunity management, because this service does not require any of the business, right? All it focuses on the cases. All it focuses on the service issues of the customer, and a customer point of contact and what is their issues. And there are several things, but it doesn't deal with the opportunity. So this is how the difference is. And the Salesforce has built already. So Salesforce has experimented, right, and investigated all of the businesses. Okay, service industry, how it works. So they have come up with the pre-built application. If pre-built application suits your business, right? So your business, then use the existing pre-built application. Okay. Similarly, sales also. So sales also, Salesforce provided sales application. If a sales is a fit for the business, use the sales application, which is Salesforce provided. But better option is Salesforce provided applications use Salesforce provided applications. Instead of building, right? Instead of reinventing the wheel from the scratch, right? Use the application which is provided by the Salesforce and extend it if needed as per your requirement. Suppose if we need any particular tab, so these are called tabs. These are called tabs, opportunities, leads, and all these are the tabs. And if you need any other tab extra, you just create the tab and you allow the user and recording the data into that and establish the relationship between the tabs and the entities. Okay, so Salesforce also provides an option. You can you can also use a customizing the application. Means you can also have your own app. You can also have your own app, and that own app you can just build on the Salesforce platform. So that, going forward, eventually we see how the custom app we can build, because standard already built. Instead of extending, we also see extending existing application. But going forward, our focus is more on having a custom application on the platform, on the Salesforce platform. Before customization of any Salesforce, just we wanted to, we have to understand the terminologies. So let me share my MS Paint. Yep. Okay. Just let me delete it. Okay. So we all know website, right? So Salesforce also is a website, right? And the website, so let me just write it here. First, tables. Okay. So before understanding this, and every website is built on the framework called MVC, right? Take any website, right? Gmail or your Facebook, take any website. So that is built on the MVC framework. So before getting into the customization, just we have to understand this framework first. Then we can get into the customization so that you can understand where you have to make the changes and what is, in which layer you have to modify. Means complex things becomes easier when you are fundamentally strong on the MVC concept. Okay. And I think, most of you, right, and worked or have experience in other building website applications, or you would have seen, websites, right? All the websites. So all websites will follow MVC framework. Okay. So any of you got MVC? So have you ever heard MVC? What is MVC? Any one of you? MVC?
No idea, sir.
Yes.
Yes. What is M? What is V? What is C? Can you just tell me?
Model view controller.
Yes, exactly. Model view controller. Okay. Model view controller. Okay. So what is model in the MVC? What is model? What is model?
I think database.
Database. Okay. Right. And what is a view?
View is what we are seeing, UI.
UI. Exactly. And a controller.
It's an application programming. APIs.
Yes. Is application programs means. Okay. So this MVC concept is, you are exactly spot on. So MVC is model view controller, right? So this model view controller, so this is how it works. Okay. The guys, whoever is not aware of the MVC. So just let's understand the concept. What is MVC, right? So this is one UI, and this will have a database. This will have a database, and there is this is a UI. Okay, let's call this as a UI, and let's call this as a database. This is the database. Okay, so every application, every website, if you take any website, right, any website, so it will have underlying database, right? All the data, right, that you have on the website should store in the database. So it should have a database, either Oracle or any other database system, any other database, but database need to be there, right? Let's take example of the Gmail, right? Our Gmail will come, will show UI, right? All the email conversations, right? All the email links like sent items and new emails, and all those conversations will store somewhere in the database, right? Otherwise, data will not persist. Otherwise, data will not be there. So the data which is coming on the Gmail side is the UI. What you are looking on the Gmail, right? You are not seeing their database, but data is coming from the database, and that all those emails you are seeing in your inboxes. So that Gmail is the UI, and that will have its own database. Let's take example, our Facebook. So Facebook also, whatever you have seen, right, whatever you see is the front end, and underlying database also will be there. So that underlying database, right, whatever you enter, commit, right, comments, or likes, dislikes, right, conversation, all of those attachments, everything, all of those, right, will store in the database. Without a database, even no site, right, will exist. So it will not store. So some kind of storage is definitely needed. So that storage is a database. Okay, and we have a UI, right? And think about our Gmail, right? So we are accessing our emails from the database, but how it is interacting, right, to bring the data. So how it is interacting is the controller. Controller is the logic, controller is the program, right? Controller is the logic. That controller, right, that controller is responsible fetching and sending data, right? This is the controller logic. Suppose in Gmail you are clicking sent item, right? Whenever you are clicking a sent item, so what is happening is that sent item click, right, and is handled within the controller and sending it to the database and getting information back and displaying it in the UI, right? So this is how the communication is working between the UI and database. So this is MVC concept. So if you are strong in the MVC concept, right, framework, then you will understand, right, where you have to make the changes. So similarly, Salesforce also built on the MVC framework. Salesforce also a website, right? It is, see, database is there. See, Gmail, right? In the Gmail, are we worrying about the database? But inside, internally, it uses the database, right? But Salesforce also, all you are seeing is just URL, just URL. URL will give you just UI, your front end, right? This is called front end. And underlying database also there, that is hosted on the multi-tenant cloud, cloud platform. But that we are not caring about, whether it is built or whether they are using Oracle technology or any other Postgre databases, or any other databases, SQL database, that we are not worrying about it, right? How Salesforce is maintaining the database, we are not worrying. Even customers also, right? Clients also, they don't have to worry. Even we also don't have to worry. But all this is the database. And this, when you click on the save button, or when you click on the new button, right? Save button. When you are clicking on the save button, then automatically, right? And a record is going via controller and storing in the database, right? So this is the framework. Even Salesforce also follows MVC. Now, when we understand MVC, right, and the complex things becomes easier, no matter how small thing is, right? No matter how small it is, but you will be knowing where you make the changes. You will be knowing where you have to make the changes when you are, when you are equipped with the model view controller. Okay, so in Salesforce terminology, let's understand what is MVC in Salesforce terminology, right? So model is database, right? Let's I think, okay. So model is basically, it's a database. So database in Salesforce, we don't see the databases, right? All we see is just objects. Objects are nothing but tables, okay? But in Salesforce world, we call it as objects, okay, known as a table. Okay, just a minute, let me write it like this: table known as objects in Salesforce. Okay, so databases, right? Database means, what is a database? Database means it will combine tables and columns, right? Tables and columns. So all the tables in Salesforce world is an object. Okay, so this is the database. And the columns, right? Table will have a columns, and the columns known as fields in Salesforce. Okay, so we call it as an object and we use a fields. Okay, objects and fields. Okay, this is the database. Objects and fields is the database. Okay, and view. What is view in Salesforce? What is view? View is UI, right? UI. So that UI is built using a page layouts. So means there is a page, there are page layouts to be configured in the Salesforce. So that page layout is the container to hold your data. Okay, so that page layout is the view. Page layouts, right? Page layouts, and you can also build in the Salesforce. We can also build any UI using VF in the classic version, in the earlier version, VF. And now in the modern technology is a lightning. So all this is a view, model view, and whatever logic, right? Controller is your apex. Apex means apex is the language, programming language by which Salesforce understands all of your clicks or all of your events, right? And it acts accordingly and brings the data or stores the data as per your need. So that is the Apex. So Salesforce will use Apex, right? All the triggers, all the programming language, all the programming, all the programming and APIs also, or just controllers. These are all controllers. And say, let's say if customer asks, or if you are asked to create just one table or one object to store my new data. Suppose account is there, right? In the accounts, you can store all of your account, but my requirement, because I don't want account, I'm not happy with the account usage. I wanted to have some more object or some more tab where you can store the data. If they say that, if you are asked that, then you have to understand where you have to make change. Is it in the data model, or is it in the data, or is it in the controller side, or is it in the view side, right? Is it in the view side? If you understand it in the Salesforce, you can just go to that particular location and you can just modify the changes, or you can create your changes, right? So model, suppose if they want to store the data into the different table or a different object, right? And that object has to be created inside the Salesforce and create a columns. Columns are nothing but a fields. Create a fields and object, create a tab, just leave it. Automatically your data gets stored there. But UI, how UI has to be available on the front end. So that UI is basically tab. That UI pages, tabs, right? So these are the tabs. What I'm talking about is these are the tabs. These are the tabs. Once the database is built, once the table is built, you need to build a tab, right? When you click on the tab, automatically this page will come, right? This is the page layout. This is the page layout. Yes, here. If we go here, this is the page layout. This thing. So this page layout also has to be built. So this is there, and go to the place where we have to build a page layout, build the page layout, and add all of the fields, whatever you need, and your UI also means page layout also will be available. And bringing the data right from the tab or onto the page layout, that is internal programming written, and standard data will come and data will go into the database from the UI. Okay, so this is how we have to understand usage of the MVC. So are we clear? Are we clear so far? Any questions? Any questions?
Sir?
Yep.
If you abstract the data, how can you do it?
Abstract?
Yeah.
Abstract meaning want to export or insert?
Means not operations. You want to hide some data to the in the cloud. All are the public. We say that.
Yes.
So if you public, then how can you salespersons as different managers, all other levels are there. Then how can you abstract those data?
Okay. So in Salesforce world, yeah. So I think let's just going forward, you will get to know how the visibility comes into place. So that is part of the security. That is part of the security. Salesforce is fully, fully aware of your customer data to secure, and all others data, right, should not be visible, right, between each. And there, sharing models will come into picture. Okay, sharing models, and there are profiles, permissions. So all of that you will get to know as we go forward into the class. Okay, but that is, I think, too early to answer now. It is so confused. Then, once we start building the application, enforcing all these sharing rules and organization wide defaults and profiles and permissions, applying all of this, data will be secured. Suppose this is the cloud, right? As you said, cloud, and you also is a customer. I am also is a customer, and it is on the same database. It is only one day. See, it's a one database, one infrastructure serving multiple customers. That's a concept of the Salesforce. Okay, but each other data should not be visible. Otherwise, that becomes a data breach, right? And nobody is going forward, or nobody is interested in to share their data with other customers, because their secrecy will be exposed, right? So that is why Salesforce will enforce all the sharing rules and visibility restrictions. Suppose when you subscribe your org, right, automatically your restrictions, visibility restrictions will be enforced, and your org data, you can only see your org data, only your accounts, not other accounts. Even if you query, because there is a database, you can also run a SQL, because we don't call SQL in Salesforce, it is a SOQL. So all those terminologies you will get to know. When you query it, right, it will bring your own data, not others' data. So that is based on the profile, permissions, and sharing rules. Every user will have a profile, every user will have a permission, every user will have sharing rules are optional, right? All these you are going to learn, right, as we progress, but it is too early to answer, but this is the concept. So that's where sharing rules comes into play.
Okay, sharing rules is like a public protector like this?
Yes, it's a protecting your data. Suppose account, right, within the same org you created and I created, my data should not be visible to you, because you are a different from the different department, right? There I have to have my different profile, and if needed, we'll have to apply sharing rules also. Okay, so all data visibility happens with the profiles and permission sets.
Okay.
And role hierarchy also going forward, but all that is a fundamentally big topic, so we'll just go forward.
Yeah. Okay, in a nutshell, application security, there is a module which we are going to discuss. That's what Satya is trying to tell you. There is application security, data security modules. There we discuss in detail of everything what Satya conveyed. Right, Satya?
Yes.
Thanks. And one more question is that, how can you know that the database, how can you write the Apex programming?
Yeah, so I think that is also just too early, but writing Apex programming, so that is also from the application side. So I'll just navigate right here. Okay, so go to the setup. So this is just a type Apex, right? Apex classes. This is the custom code. This is the place. Here, click new and write your program.
Okay.
See, this is how the classes are. You just click new and create it like this. So there is a Apex class created already. It is already there. And this has to be invoked. So all that, you will get to know, but this is too early. This is where you can write the Apex. Okay. Okay. So I think if that is done, then we can just proceed. So just to see the objects, and we'll have to see one concept, and so all that is there.
So here I cannot understand that one. Means different syntax are the different databases. Am I right?
Yes.
So how can you write? You cannot know the database. That is my question. Means the class is
so that is not Apex. That is a SOQL. If you have to bring the data, right? So there is a concept called SOQL, so Salesforce Object Query Language. So that query language have to be used right inside the Salesforce.
Means some interfaces are there to use those interfaces.
Sorry, instructions are there. There is a specific language, so Salesforce object query language that you will learn eventually in the class, and that programming you have to use in order to get the data from the database. Okay, so there is a go to the developer console. This is the tool. Here you have a query editor. You can write the SOQL, but all that you will learn in the classes. Okay. So here the SOQLs. We have to write it and bring the data, and there are external tools. All that
you can simple one line. You can write it. Select to start from that. Select ID, name,
suppose
account, so that you can get it. That you can feel that.
See name, account name, right? From account table. This is the SQL. So SQL, but it is not a it is not a SQL. This is called SOQL, because all the SQL syntax will not work here. So execute it, you will get all the names.
Okay.
Right. This is coming from the database.
So
it is connecting to the database, and from the database, it is bringing all of your data, like Oracle.
Some local things are there, so you have to follow those things. You can get the data.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
You're right.
Okay.
See, every application has its own set of protocols. We need to follow it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But all this, you are going to learn in the classes. Don't worry, right? So this is just too early question to answer, but you will get to know once you end of the session, right? End of the complete course, you will get to know all this, everything. Okay. So we are very in the early stage. I think in the interest of others' time, let's proceed.
Data model you are going to talk about, right? Okay, now.
Yeah. So data model, right? Okay. So how we have to create a new object, right? New table, right? See, we are seeing all accounts and opportunities and all of those tabs, right? So this is the object manager, is the place where you define your table. Table is nothing but object. Table, we call it as a object. That is what I've written, right? So we don't call a table in Salesforce. In Salesforce world, Salesforce terminology is always a object. So where you are going to store data is in the object. So that storage of the data is in the object. So currently this account is the object where you are going to store all of the account information, account record. Suppose if we want to store any of the data into the custom object, right? Into the custom object, you can just create a custom object. Here you can see custom object. So these are the objects which are provided by Salesforce. When you buy a product from the Salesforce, there are pre-built, right? Pre-built applications. So applications will have a UI, will have a controller, will have a database. This is called a database. This object manager is a database. So all these databases have come from the Salesforce. So if you want to have custom table, or if you want to store, if you are asked to create a custom object where I need to store data, I'm not happy with the account, then in that case, you just create a custom object. When you just create a custom object, just let's call it, just review any name, right? And automatically plural name would be I'll tell you why we use this plural name going forward, not now. Okay. Once this is created and object name it says, right? This is called table. But in terms of database, but in the Salesforce it is an object, and you can provide the comment description why we have created, right? And this is for the testing purpose, and you can have all other options. This will go through. Once it is created, right? Once you click on save, then automatically API name will be there, right? API name is the unique name across your org, across your org. So this name, API name, always gets suffixed with underscore underscore C. C is the custom, right? If you go to object manager, right, this is standard. If you go to any of the detail, right, API name, it will not have any underscore underscore C, right? But when you create any custom object where you want to store the data, then automatically underscore underscore C gets attached. So this is how Salesforce understands this is your custom object, this is my object. My object means this is Salesforce object, standard object. We call it as a standard object. So this is that is the standard which Salesforce provided. This is a custom that you created, custom object. This custom object you created for storing of your data, So this is the database manager, the model view controller, which we talking about, right? So this is the model. This is the model place where you just come and create either field or object and you just save it. Then this database is available, right? Whenever any customization comes, or if you are asked to build any customization or customizing UI or custom interface, definitely you need to build a data structure, right? Data structure, database, right? Data structure. So that data structure is called a object model. So object model within which you will have objects plus fields. When you create any custom, when you create with any of the custom, underscore underscore C gets attached. So this is the fundamentally difference between the standard and our customization, our custom object. So we call it all the objects which are provided by the Salesforce are standard. So whatever we create is the custom. Custom will always have underscore underscore C a suffixed. Okay. So this is the database. And view, right? We were talking about the view. View is in the same object manager. There is a page layout. Some page UI should be there, right? Some UI should be there. So that UI, right, will be created automatically. But you can modify this container as per your requirement. What all fields you need, what all information that you need, right? And hiding and displaying conditionally, all that you can just do it in the page layout. And you just create a tab. Here there is a tab called, and you go to tab and create a tab. Then automatically apply the application where you want to see. And then in the sales, suppose if you apply that custom object into the sales application, right? In the sales application, you are going to see that custom tab. We have not created, but in the custom tab, you are going to see here. So whenever you enter the data, then automatically it stores the data into your custom object defined. So that's how it works. So now if any UI, right, building of UI comes into place, and you have to define a data model. So that data model, in order to define the data model, go to the object manager, create objects and fields, plus establish the relationship. You would have heard RDBMS, right, in the database world. What is that RDBMS? Anybody volunteer? What is RDBMS? Relational database, right? Relational database management means establishing the relationship between the tables in the world of RDBMS, a database. But in the Salesforce, establishing a relationship between the objects is called RDBMS. Is called relations. In Salesforce world, It is called in the relations, but in the database, we call it as RDBMS. So establishing relationship, you define a review, you define one more object, one more object, one more object, you define the relationship, and those relationships are called a relationships between the object. So that relationship and fields and the objects comes into the data model. So as we go forward, we'll learn more establishing the relationship and data model, right? So we'll just take one simple concept. We'll take just simple concept and we go on building our custom app. So here I have a sales, I have a service, I have other application which are pre-built by the Salesforce. But my organization or my client said, no, I don't want this app. I don't want any sales. I wanted one app because I have a one problem. I have a one concept which is not going to fit in the Salesforce provided apps. So you have to build a custom app and give it to us where we use. Okay, let's take example hiring process, right? Let's take one concept, right? During the entire our development customization standard, right? We see with the concept called a hiring process. Okay, hiring process, everybody I think would have known what is hiring process, right? Wherein this recruiting and hiring manager comes and manages all these activities. Currently, the problem, right? The problem that we have, all this is happening through the Excel sheet and manual process. Okay, all this hiring process, right? Recruitment process is happening with the Excel sheet and manual process. Now, client asked, I just just to create, right, a app wherein just to create a app and process and give it to us so that we can use that application. Our data, right? Whoever creating a data gets consolidated, stored in one place. If we maintain Excel sheets, all the data, right, will not be in the common place and storage gets lost and it's a pure mess up. And now that is the problem. Client is saying, I just need one app to streamline, right? To have automation or to have automatic process, right? And within the app, I just need app to be built on the Salesforce. Okay, so concept here is the concept of the hiring process here. Hiring process is what will happen here. Recruitment, right? Recruitment team means a recruiter and hiring manager will be there, right? What recruiter does, see, understand the concept, then we'll have to understand the database model, data model, right? How to create it. Recruiter mainly works with the jobs and job applications, right? Or job applicants, right? Jobs and job applications. So hiring manager, right? Hiring manager, what it does, he will work on the candidates and the interviews, right? Means whenever job is posted and this recruiter, right, goes to the market and shows the job applicants resumes and he will convert them as the candidate, right? He will pass it to the hiring manager. And hiring manager, what it does, hiring manager. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. I think you're sharing some of the screen. We are still able to see the Salesforce.
No, just I'm calling it out.
Okay.
Not sharing anything. Just concept. We'll just see tomorrow because we are just 3 minutes, right? We'll just wrap it up and we'll just get into more answer by tomorrow. Just calling it out. So this hiring manager, right? What it does is taking these candidates and going to the interviews, right? And interview panel and getting these interviews done. And hiring manager will close all these hiring deals. All these process and these deals, right? So this concept, right? With this concept, this is a real-time situation. This is the concept which we take, right? We are taking building a recruitment application or recruitment app on the Salesforce platform, wherein we'll get hands-on, right? How to build an application using a standard and what customization is needed, how to post a job application, where to view our job applications, right? All that, right? All that comes in the recruitment app. Going forward, we will see building a recruitment app for the recruiters, recruiters and the hiring managers, which will help. Got it? So this is the concept which we are going to take. Any questions?
We do in a better presentation tomorrow because of the time constraints. We are not able to do that. We'll come up with a presentation so that that will be visible for you to understand more deeper of our real life scenario, what we are going to build it across our course. I hope that will be helpful for all of you guys.
Yep.
Yep.
So 1 more minute, I have a hard stop. Even TJ also.
Yes. Any questions, guys? Till now, let's have
Sir.
another 2-3 minutes. It's fine. We will have a questions, and so that you can jump off to other meetings if needed to be.
Yeah, so I'll jump. I'll just
No, let it. Yeah, sure. I'll take a couple of minutes for the questions and clarify.
Right. Okay. Can I join?
Satya sir, 1 minute.
Yes.
So here all are the objects.
Yes.
Then how can you define the data types? Means if you cannot insert, if you insert any type of the values in that object, means it is picture, or it is integer, or that float, anything insert?
That is the column types. That is not the object. See, object, what we spoke is just a table, right? Table will have a columns. Columns will have a data types, right? So similarly, in Salesforce also, object is a table. We have seen objects, and object will have a fields, and fields data types also are there, like text, rich text, number, all that, date, right? All the formats, all the data types of the fields are available. So that you will get to know while building our application.
Okay, means pictures also inserted.
Yes, you can also place pictures.
Images.
Yes. So this is where you are seeing, right? Sorry?
Is there any data limitations in creating objects and storing data?
Yes, that is what we have learned, right? It is a multi-tenant environment. Everywhere is a restriction. So you cannot store unlimited of the data inside the Salesforce. Yes, there is a limit.
Okay.
But each license, there is a limit, data storage also. So we call it, right, this opportunity, right? All these records, we call it as a transactional data. This is all transactional data. But what we build using a setup called metadata. Metadata is a code. So that code will not have any restriction, but there are characters limit that we'll get to know in the governor limits. But this transactional data is a storage, will have a limit. So everywhere we have a limit. That limits are called governor limits. Okay, we'll get all of that. It is just too early to answer, right? So there are several things, and which you will get clarified by the class itself. We don't have to answer it explicitly. You will get to know. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Satya, I'll stand by for 2 more minutes. If there is any questions, you can jump off to other discussions.
Sure.
Yep.
Shika, I have